Okay, it's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I'm in Gloucester Brewery with Gareth. How you doing, Gareth?
Very well, thanks.
Restoring this old boat in the background. This is Gloucester Docks, and we're here at Gloucester Brewery. So behind us we have the brewery. We're brewing a collaboration beer today. What are we brewing, Gareth?
Wit IPA.
A Wit IPA. What's the ABV?
5.2.
5.2%, and lots of American hops, yeah?
Yummy, yummy.
So, there's the brewery sign. Let's get in and start brewing, shall we?
Let's.
So this is your little shop?
Yeah, pretty basic at the moment. Our bottle shop. We're going to eventually convert this whole room into a visitor centre. So it's going to be looking much nicer.
Cool, so people can come in and buy a beer and sit on the dock.
Yeah, we're going to have some taps here as well, so doing tasters and also sell some deli meats as well. So.
Oh, fantastic. So in we go. So Gareth, what's the first job?
First job is preparing the grain for the mash, basically, so we've got to do a bit of mixing by hand, being a wheat beer,
okay.
So we better get on with that, really.
Okay, so the first step, Gareth, we're doing a bit of mixing of meat with the pale ale malt and the wheat.
Definitely, yes.
Over the boat, so adding that there to the bin. How much are we using?
We're using 250 kilos of pale malt and 75 kilos of wheat, so about 1/3 wheat malt, and a little bit of oat as well, just for smoothness.
Let's get that oat in, shall we?
Yeah. Do you want to get mixing?
Yeah. Coming in, camera. Coming in. So what we're looking to do, we're looking to mix this all together so it doesn't clump when we're in the boil, when we're in the mash. We don't want it clumping together, so it's very important that we make sure all of this is mixed up tidy.
Yeah, you don't want any spots of wheat left on their own, really.
Have a look at that.
That smells delicious.
There we go, like porridge. Okay, what are we doing, Gareth?
We're mixing our oats with some of our torrefied wheat.
Look at that.
Wish you could smell it on camera, it smells delicious.
Oh, and it tastes good as well.
So we're adding oats to add a bit of body and a bit of smooth mouthfeel, because the malt bill in this beer is pretty simple, just being pale malt and wheat malt. So it's going to add a bit of body, a bit of complexity, and a bit of smoothness in the mouth as well.
A bit of creaminess as well,
yes,
maybe?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
Smooth it out a bit.
Come and have a look at this.
But wait, there's more.
There's more?
There's more.
Wow, here we go. And we're mixing it all up so it didn't kind of clump together. We want it all even.
Looking good.
Yeah.
We're mashing in now, which is essentially mixing all the yummy grains with the hot water to release all the tasty sugars, which the yeast will then ferment into alcohol for us. So basically doing it all manual here, really. You have to keep a sort of steady eye, try and get a nice consistent mash. It should look something a bit like porridge, really.
Okay. So here comes Tom with another bag. And we'll keep on doing this now until we get about 8 or 9 of the bags in.
Can you keep an eye on the water level, Tom? Yeah, if you want to stand over there, you can get a bit of a
look at that.
Look into it. Cheers.
Oh, good old-fashioned manual labour.
Sorry.
No button pressing here, I see.
No fancy grist cases, the ceiling's too low.
Okay, so we'll carry on doing this now, carry on adding all of these bags. I think we've got about 10 or 12 over there. And we'll show you the sparge now in a bit. Okay Gareth, next stage, what are we doing?
We're checking the temperature of the mash, make sure it's where it's at. If it's slightly off, we can leave the mash in for a little bit longer, but fingers crossed, it's all going to be good.
Okay, so what are we looking for? 65, did you say?
65 and a half.
Well, while we got this open,
This is
look at that.
64.8. So I've weighed the hops out for the copper editions, and I'm just breaking them up really. This one we've got here is Magnum, which is a really nice bittering hop. It's really good because although it's fairly bitter, the bitterness is not too harsh. It's nice and smooth. So we use it for most of our bittering actually.
Okay.
So there's that one. Then there's this one which people are maybe more excited about, which is Citra.
2 kilos, yeah?
2 kilos of Citra, late hopping. We've got plenty more in after fermentation as well, so this is going to be a pretty heavily hopped beer.
Could you grab this while I just stick my head in there? Is that okay?
Certainly.
Right. Oh my goodness. That's just heaven. I could just stand here all day just taking that in.
It's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The mash is done now, so we need to transfer it into the copper for the boil. But before we do that, I'm just going to recirculate the wort a little bit. So that means recirculating the liquid that's at the bottom of the mash tun, comes through this pipe just over the top. So do that a few times.
That's to just get all of that,
yeah,
all of the sugars.
Yeah, it helps wash the top of the mash bed, and it helps. It stops too much protein basically going into the copper as well. So
okay.
So before we start the sparge, you just do this a few times. You can see it's nice and pale.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got the colour right. What you'll get at the bottom is the wort will be very, very thick. So you want to put that back over the top. You get a nice even wort going into the copper.
And for our newer viewers, when we say sparge, what do we mean by sparging, Gareth?
By sparging, we can make another video in a sec when we get going, but sparging basically involves spraying hot water over the top of the mash tun, basically rinsing out all the sugars that we can. So it's been infusing, and the wort solution will be nice and sugary, but we want to get as much sugar from the grain as we can. We don't want to waste any. We want to get as much sugar to go into the copper as possible.
Okay, we're starting the transfer now into the copper. If you have a look at the back of the copper there, through all that steam, you'll see we're going to fill this copper right up with wort now. Right Gareth, we're sparging in. Do you mind talking to our newer viewers about sparging and what it involves?
So it basically involves spraying hot water on top of all of your grain as you're transferring it. And the reason why we do that is because if we just let it drain naturally without sparging, there would be a lot of sugars trapped in and amongst the grain. And that would be a waste really, because we can turn that into alcohol in the beer. So we're rinsing it through to extract as much sugar as possible really. That's basically what sparging is. You have to keep your eye on it a little bit, make sure you're not rinsing it too quickly, too slowly, because you want it to be nice and consistent, and you don't want the grains to stick together too much. So this speed is good at the beginning. As you can see, there's no puddles of water on top.
Yeah,
it's going through quite nicely. So we can film it again in a little while once we've done a bit more sparge, and you'll see the grain
dropping down.
Yeah.
You can see that there. So basically all that hot water is travelling through and into the copper, where it is our wort. Our wort is basically our beer. Sparging now, ramping up a little bit.
Yeah, so we're about halfway done on the sparge, so we can speed it up a little bit. You can see a little bit of water resting on the surface. That's not a big deal as long as you're not getting any large amounts, as long as it's still going through. Yeah. But yeah, it's going nicely.
How's it going, Gareth?
Yeah, alright. A little bit hot in here.
Yeah.
It's like standing in a giant bowl of porridge.
Yeah, absolutely. So, to our newer viewers, what exactly are you doing now?
So now all the wort's been drained out of here into the copper. And if you want to get a look in, this is basically all the grain, so it needs to be dug out.
So you're in there, look, there's your feet down there.
Unfortunately, I've got a split in one of my boots, so
yeah.
I'm getting a nice hot, wheaty sock. But yeah, so we put them back in these bags and we actually leave them for a local farmer to collect, pig farmer, and they go for pig feed, so it doesn't get wasted. Still nutritious.
Yeah. And some of the bigger breweries, I've heard stories that you get beer allowance as you kind of dig out a mash tun. So people like maybe Guinness, maybe Brains, you know, years ago when they had their giant mash tuns where they'd get 3 or 4 people in the mash tun.
Oh yeah.
When they'd come out, especially in the summertime, because you could see, you know, you got a full sweat on there. Especially in the summertime, you probably lose easily a pint of sweat, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so.
So they'd introduce beer allowance where you'd be able to have 2 pints of beer just to bring your fluid levels back up.
Sounds like an excellent idea to me.
And it's a good incentive, really, isn't it? I bet they were diving in the old mash tun, ready to dig it out. Yeah. There we go. That's a look at digging out a mash tun.
A lot of grafting.
A lot of grafting.
A lot of cleaning, a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. So when you drink your pint of beer, think of the poor man in a mash tun. Tom on his tricycle, look at this. He's going to take out 5 casks. 6 casks. Around the local pubs in Gloucester. Look at this. No gasoline needed, eh, Tom?
Just beer.
Just beer. Beer fuel.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Happy trails.
Bit of late hopping going on. Pulling this to one side. 2 kilos of Citra. Going in the Wit IPA. Look at that. Now we're going to spread them around. And get it all hoppy. How's that? Okay, Wit beer yeast. A specific beer or a yeast strain used specifically for wheat beers. Up we go. And in we go. Now go ferment.